So I was talking to a friend who was absolutely convinced that he could use science to prove to me that there was a God. Needless to say, he had my attention. I asked him what about science convinced him that there is a God. He said,
"Well, it is the most obvious thing ever. It is the existence of the laws of nature."
I must say, he almost got my hopes up. He had me prepared for one of those deep dives on abstract physics and mathematics. But knowing him well enough, I asked him to explain first how the laws of nature simply existing proves the existence of a God. He looked very proud while responding to me and saying,
"Well, it is actually very straightforward. Science tells us that there are many laws of nature. But how do you even get laws without someone coming up with the laws in the first place? What I'm trying to say is that if there are laws, there must be a lawgiver."
That right there is today's topic. The idea that the universe having laws indicate that there is a lawgiver. In the next several minutes, we will dismantle this claim in detail. Let's dive right in. In their eagerness to prove the existence of God, people like my friend fall victim to a common pitfall. That pitfall is the confusion between types of laws. You can see it in action when they make their argument that they are trying to draw parallels between laws to explain their conclusions rationally. But is that rational? Are all laws the same? Well, let me save you the time and just let you know that no, they are not the same. You see, we can break down laws into two major types, prescriptive and descriptive. Prescriptive laws are the ones we are the most familiar with. They are the laws that deal with things like driving speed limit, possession of firearms, food safety, environmental concerns, violence, etc. You already know this, but for those who don't, we call these laws prescriptive because someone has to prescribe it. The laws regarding driving speed limit, for example, are not laws that physically set a speed limit that nobody can cross. It is a prescription only. Whether we obey it or not is up to us. In fact, we need to pair these laws with penalties for breaking them precisely because they can be broken. So what makes a law descriptive then? To appreciate that, let's look at an example. Let's consider this small box. It can fit small objects like phones, keys, wallets, a can of Coke, etc. But it cannot fit a car inside it. Why? Is it our city council who made the bylaw that we are not allowed to fit a car inside the small box? Or is it a provincial or even a federal law? Or is it some law that the United Nations came up with and made it binding on us? Which one of these law-issuing authorities said that we cannot fit a car inside that box? Let's just say we don't know which one of them came up with this law. My next question is, just as we can break the speed limit despite having laws, can we break this law? Obviously not. The box has a fixed dimension in 3D space. As such, it occupies a fixed volume in space. This volume is the theoretical maximum space this box has to fit anything inside it. Cars are much bigger than that box, and as such, cannot logically fit inside it. For the sake of this example, we can call this the law of space occupation or something similar. That law being that a container cannot fit something of a bigger volume inside it. This law isn't something we're insisting on. This law isn't something we made up and agreed on. This law emerges out of the physical description of the physical things we are talking about. This law describes the state of things. This law describes the relationship between things, and laws like this are called descriptive laws. Now that we understand descriptive and prescriptive laws, I hope my rebuttal is bloody obvious to you. The laws of nature as we learn and study them are not prescriptive. When scientists study various aspects of nature and try to label fundamental and interesting aspects of it with words like laws, they are not talking about prescriptive laws. For example, Newton's laws of motion do not state that objects follow these laws or else they get fined or jailed. It doesn't say that some authority dictated this, so now it must be followed. Newton's laws of motion merely describe the relationship between force, mass, and acceleration, explaining how things move and interact with forces. Similarly, scientific laws are all descriptions of how things in nature are related to one another, or they describe the inescapable consequences of these relationships between things. As such, they are called descriptive laws. the implication of which is that they do not need or rely on law-giving and enforcing authorities of any kind. So the whole idea of laws of nature needing a lawgiver is honestly laughably absurd to me. What about you though? Please comment and let me know what you think. Also, unlike the laws of nature, YouTube's laws are prescriptive and require you to take the trouble to like this video and subscribe to show your support for content like this and help it reach more people. This has been the Scientalist. See you in the next video.